My name is Maude, and I am 62 years old. For the past 35 years, I have saved a little bit from every paycheck, dreaming of one grand, perfect family vacation. This year, I finally did it. I cashed in $70,000 of my savings to take my son, his wife, and my two granddaughters to Hawaii for 2 weeks. We were supposed to leave this morning. I was at the airport, my heart swelling with more joy than I have felt in years. Then my son David walked up to me, his face oddly blank. He said, "Mom, you forgot your ticket. You should just go home." And then they left. They boarded the plane and left me standing there. Before I go on with what happened next, I would love to know where you are listening from right now. Are you in your car during a commute or maybe at home with a cup of tea? Please take a second to say hello and let me know in the comments below. And if you are interested in hearing how a 62-year-old woman found her strength after a moment like that, please do hit that subscribe button. It truly means a lot. For 35 years, I tucked away bits of my life into a Hawaii fund. It started with loose change in a mason jar on the kitchen counter, the one my husband Frank brought home from a garage sale. He used to joke that one day we would empty that jar and buy our tickets to paradise. Frank was a mechanic, I was an office manager. We had good years, but paradise always seemed like a dream for other people, the kind with fancier jobs and bigger paychecks. Frank passed 8 years ago from a heart attack that came on sudden like a summer storm. After he was gone, the Hawaii Fund became something more. It was not just a dream anymore. It was a promise I intended to keep for him, for me, and for what was left of our family. Our son David is 42. When he was a boy, he would spread travel brochures on the living room floor and point to the turquoise water. "We will all go there," he would say, "you, me, and Dad." That boy grew up, went to college on scholarships and loans we helped with, and landed in the tech world up in San Francisco. He did well, very well. He married Chloe, who is sharp and comes from a world of private schools and vacations that were not saved for in a jar. They have two beautiful girls, Lily, who is 10, and Zoe, who is 8. I love those girls with a fierceness that aches. But over the years, a quiet distance settled between my world and David's. My world was my small, paid-off house in Sacramento, my book club, my routine. His world was fast-moving, sleek, and it seemed increasingly embarrassed by things that were simple or sentimental, like a mother who talked about saving jar money for a trip. The plan for this trip consumed me for 6 months. I wanted it to be perfect. Not a crowded hotel, but a private villa in Maui with its own pool so the girls could splash and we could have real family time. I researched for hours. I found a guided snorkel tour where you could swim with sea turtles. I booked the sunrise tour to the top of the Haleakala volcano because Frank always said that was the one thing he had to see. I paid for everything up front: the villa, the flights, the rental car, the tours, $70,000. It was almost every cent I had saved, but I did not care. This was the thing. This was the memory we would all share. The week before the trip, I was humming. I bought a new sundress, a simple lavender one. I packed and repacked my suitcase. I imagined the photos, all of us on the beach smiling, my arms around my granddaughters. I thought this trip could bridge the gap. I thought the shared sunsets would remind David of the boy on the living room floor. I thought it would show Chloe I was not just an old woman from a different life. I was so busy hoping I missed the signs. The morning of the flight, I was awake at 4 a.m. I made a pot of strong coffee and packed some homemade muffins and fruit in a little cooler. Airport food is so expensive, and I thought it would be a nice surprise for the girls. I wore my new dress. I got to the Sacramento airport a full 3 hours early, buzzing with a nervous excitement. I stood right by the entrance to the terminal, my rolling suitcase beside me, watching for them. They were 45 minutes late. When I saw them walking up, my first feeling was relief, quickly followed by a pinch of worry. David looked tense, his jaw tight. Chloe was on her phone, barely looking up. Lily and Zoe trailed behind, each staring at an iPad screen. "Hey, my sweet girls," I said, opening my arms. They gave me quick, one-armed hugs, their attention still glued to their devices. "Hi, Grandma," they mumbled and went back to their screens. "Ready for an adventure?" I asked David, trying to catch his eye. He just nodded. "Yeah, sure. Let's get checked in." At the airline counter, I proudly handed over my passport to the agent. David immediately reached over and took it from my hand. "I will handle all this, Mom," he said, his voice leaving no room for argument. He leaned in and spoke quietly to the agent, showing her something on his own phone. I saw him point at the screen, then at me. The agent nodded, typed something, and handed David a stack of boarding passes. He shuffled them, handed one to me. It was a flimsy paper ticket. All set, he said. Just hold on to this. I felt a flicker of confusion. I had electronic tickets on my phone. Why did I get a paper one? But I brushed it off. He was just being efficient. At security, I started to follow Chloe and the girls into the line. David gently but firmly took my elbow. This line is shorter over here, Mom. Come on. He steered me to a different checkpoint away from them. For the first time, a cold little worm of unease wriggled in my stomach. We were being separated. We met up again at the gate. The silence was heavy. I tried to break it. Lily. Zoe, what are you most excited to do in Hawaii? I asked. Chloe answered without looking up from her phone. We will figure it out when we get there. David was typing furiously on his own phone, a deep frown on his face. I pulled out my muffins. Anyone hungry? I have banana nut. No one was hungry. I sat there in my lavender dress, holding my cooler, feeling suddenly very old and very out of place. The loudspeaker announced the start of boarding for first class and premium members. David stood up abruptly. Okay, let's go, Mom. We walked to the gate agent. My heart was pounding, but I told myself it was just pre-flight jitters. I handed the agent my paper boarding pass. She scanned it. A loud, unhappy beep sounded. She looked at her monitor, her expression turning puzzled. She scanned it again. Another beep. I am sorry, ma'am, she said, her voice polite but firm. You are not showing on the passenger manifest for this flight. What I said, the word coming out as a whisper. That is not possible. David stepped forward, his face a mask of believable surprise. What do you mean? That cannot be right. Here, let me see. He took my boarding pass from the agent, studied it, and shook his head. He turned to me. His eyes, which I had looked into 1,000,000 times with love, were flat and cold. Mom, he said, his voice low but clear. You must have forgotten your real ticket. This is a mess. You should just go home. We will sort it out from our end. The world tilted. Forgot my ticket. I paid for everything. I have the confirmation emails. My voice was rising, panicked. I fumbled for my phone. David did not flinch. It is okay, Mom. Just go home. We will call you. He turned back to the gate agent, handed her his family's boarding passes. They are all set, he said. Chloe would not look at me. She was already shepherding the girls past the agent. Lily glanced back, her small face confused. Come on. Grandma David snapped his fingers at her and she turned away. The gate agent gave me an apologetic look. Ma'am, I need you to step aside, please. I stood there frozen as David and his family walked down the jet bridge. He did not look back, not once. Chloe did not look back. The girls disappeared from view. The agent closed the door. People in the gate area were staring, some with pity, some with annoyance at the holdup. $70,000. A lifetime of saving. A promise to Frank. It all evaporated in that sterile airport air, leaving behind a hollow, howling silence. My legs would not hold me. I stumbled to a row of hard plastic seats and sank into one, the cool metal armrests, feeling like bars of a cage. I do not know how long I sat there. A kind airport security officer, a man around my age with gentle eyes, came over. Ma'am, are you all right? Do you have someone I can call? That question meant to help was like a knife. Did I have someone to call? The person I would have called had just left me. I managed to shake my head. I will be okay, I whispered. He helped me up and guided me to the taxi stand. The ride home was a blur of gray highway and a pain so deep in my chest I thought I was having a heart attack, just like Frank. My house had never felt so empty. The silence was a physical presence. I dropped my suitcase by the door, the one I had packed so carefully, and went straight to my computer. My hands were shaking as I logged into my email, my bank account, the travel booking sites. I needed proof that I was not going crazy. And there it was, in stark black and white. Confirmations for 5 airline tickets, receipts for the villa payment in full, invoices for the snorkel tour for 5, the sunrise tour for 5, the rental of a large SUV for 2 weeks. All paid from my checking account, all bearing my name as the purchaser. I called David. It went straight to voicemail. I called again. Voicemail. I texted Chloe. No response. I sat in the darkening living room, the blue light of my laptop screen, the only illumination. This was not a mistake. This was a choice. They had planned this. David's quiet conversation with the check-in agent, the separate security line, the paper ticket. He had canceled my ticket. He had taken my $70,000 gift and turned it into a vacation for 4, cutting me out at the last possible moment. The betrayal was so complete, so cold, it took my breath away. Then, through the numbness, a new feeling began to spark. It was not just hurt, it was anger. A clean, sharp anger. That money was mine. I earned it. I saved it. Those bookings were in my name. I was the customer. I looked at the reservation for the villa. My name, my email, my credit card on file. A thought clear and hard formed in my mind. If I am the one who paid for it all, then I am the one who controls it all. The next morning, I did not cry. I made a pot of coffee, sat at my kitchen table with a notepad and a pen, and I made a plan. I thought, Frank, I need you to help me be strong now. My first call was to the property management company in Maui. I was calm, polite, and firm. Hello, this is Maude. I am the guest who has booked the Palm Grove Villa for the next 2 weeks. I need to speak to a manager about the account security, please. After being transferred, I explained. There has been a family situation. I am the sole payer on this reservation, and I need to revoke all existing access authorizations immediately. I am setting a new verbal password for any changes effective right now. Can you please confirm that only I calling and providing that password can make any alterations to this booking? The manager, hearing the steel in my voice and verifying my details, agreed. It was done. The villa was now locked down. Next, I called the tour companies. One by one, I canceled every single excursion. When they asked why, I simply said, A, change in plans for the primary party. I am the booking and paying party, and I wish to cancel. I did not request refunds to my card. I asked for the value to be held as company credit in my name only. I did not want them getting any cash back. Then I remembered the rental car, a 7-passenger SUV. I called the agency. I canceled that reservation. Then I made a new one. For a compact economy car, a 4-seater, for pickup the following day under my name. I left a note on the reservation. Guests will pick up later in the week. They would arrive expecting a large vehicle for their family of 4 and all their luggage and be handed the keys to a tiny car. It would be impossible. Finally, I called the airline. I explained the situation. I was denied boarding despite having a paid ticket, and I believe my son fraudulently canceled it. After a long hold and speaking to a supervisor, the truth came out. The records showed that a David at the check-in counter had requested to cancel one ticket in the party, citing a passenger not traveling. He had applied the value as a flight credit to his own frequent flyer account. The supervisor was appalled. That is against policy without authorization from the cardholder, she said. We will revert that credit to your account and open an investigation. When I hung up, my hand was steady. I felt tired, but a good tired. I had not yelled. I had not begged. I had used the only leverage I had, the truth of my ownership. I had taken my power back one phone call at a time. It was late afternoon in Hawaii when my phone rang. It was David. His voice was not cold this time. It was a shriek of panic and rage. Mom, what did you do? We are at the villa and they will not let us in. They say we are not authorized. We have nowhere to go. Are you insane? I took a slow breath. The calm I felt was surprising even to me. David, I am not insane. I am the person who paid $70,000 for a vacation that you deliberately left me behind from. I am simply adjusting the reservations to reflect the actual traveling party. It seems you and your family will need to find your own accommodations and transportation, just like I had to do yesterday. The silence on the other end was thick. Then his voice cracked, all the anger leaking out, replaced by a whining fear. Mom, I am sorry. This is crazy. Chloe kept saying it would be so much more relaxing if it was just our immediate family. I did not think. That is the problem, David. I said, my voice quiet but clear. You did not think. You did not think about me. You did not think about your father's dream. You thought about what you wanted, and you used my money and my heart to get it. Your regret right now is because you are stranded, not because you hurt me. He started to blubber then about money, about the girls being upset, about the cost of a last-minute hotel. I listened. Then I said, I will transfer the value of the canceled tours to you. That should cover a flight change to come home early. You will need to figure out the rest. The villa and the car are no longer available to you. I will be keeping the flight credit for myself. You cannot do this, he yelled, the panic returning. I already did, I said, and I hung up. The following weeks were quiet. I heard through a mutual friend that they had to cut their trip short by 10 days spending a fortune on a hotel and a new rental car. They came home to maxed out credit cards and a chilly silence between them. David called a few more times, his apologies always circling back to his financial stress. I was polite, but distant. Our relationship needs time to heal, David, I told him, and that healing does not start with a check from me. With the tour company credits now in my account, I did something for myself. I booked a trip to Hawaii, a solo trip. I did not stay in a luxury villa. I found a small, clean bed and breakfast run by a local family on the Big Island. A week after the drama, I was there. One morning, I woke up in the dark, put on every layer I had, and took a tour van up to the summit of Mauna Kea to watch the sunrise. As the first sliver of light broke over the horizon, painting the sea of clouds below in impossible shades of pink and gold, I felt Frank there with me, not as a sad memory, but as a presence. I did not save this for someone else, I whispered to the wind. I finally brought us here. I cried then, but they were not tears of bitterness. They were tears of release. The lesson I learned was a hard one. I had confused love with sacrifice, and I thought my sacrifice would buy me closeness. I turned my love into a commodity, and my son treated it like one. He saw a price tag, not a heart. Kindness without boundaries is not kindness at all. It is an invitation to be taken advantage of. I joined a hiking group for seniors. I made friends with other women who understood about starting over later in life. I learned to say no without guilt. I still see my granddaughters, but now I set the terms. I pick them up for simple, real things. An afternoon at the library getting ice cream, walking in the park. No pressure, no grand productions, just time. It is better this way. I am still here. My house is still quiet, but now the quiet feels like peace, not loneliness. I do not know what the future holds with David. Maybe in time we can build something new with respectful distance and clearer lines. Or maybe it will just be a card on my birthday. But I do know this, I will never again trade my own peace for the illusion of a perfect family. And sometimes that peace, even if it looks solitary from the outside, is the most precious gift you can ever give yourself. If you have ever given your all to someone only to feel left behind, I would love to hear from you. How did you find your way back to yourself? Please, share your thoughts in the comments below. If this story resonated with you, please give this video a like. It lets me know I am not just talking into the void. And if you would like to join me for more stories about finding strength in unexpected places, please subscribe and hit the notification bell. Sharing this video might just help someone else who is standing at their own airport gate feeling lost. Thank you so much for listening and for being part of this community. Remember, no matter your age, your story is not over. The next chapter is yours to write. Be kind to yourself.